He's Arvind,
Hey Shri, welcome to the Offside.
an Overthrows podcast,
Let's dive into the crease with the recently concluded WTC final.
and the preview of the upcoming England India Test series. South Africa versus Australia, VGT.
Oh, South Africa
VGT
versus
World Test Champ,
BGT
World
as
Test Championship final.
yeah, for me it's like the rags to what do you call like underdog story for sure. I don't
Underdog,
think anyone.
legit underdog story because from the point of South Africa, with SA T20 starting, a lot of the South African players did not want to play Test series, or they were given the choice by Cricket South Africa whether they want to play franchise cricket, play for test matches and all.
Like,
तो एक बार कभी तो हुआ था, I think during SA T20 or some other series, South Africa had a series in New Zealand, so they actually sent their kind of B team.
I know it was a big moment of controversy where it was a talking point in the entire cricketing fraternity. Like, how can someone send an obviously second string side to a test playing nation? Like, they're not serious about cricket and all. काफी बड़ा मुद्दा बन गया था.
Exactly, everybody thought like Test cricket is gone, and like
I
people
know.
wanted, people are like, oh, everybody's moving towards franchise cricket and going the mold of West Indies now.
Correct. And who was it? I think was Dean Edgar. Dean Edgar
El
was Elgar.
Dean.
Was he their captain or so? Because I remember him putting out statements like, people like even South Africans and upbringing cricketers should not be doing this. This is pride and prestige to represent the country in
हाँ आई
the
थिंक वही कैप्टन था वो.
right.
जॉर्जी वगैरह ये सब गए थे, बट उनके वही द बिग हिटर, like honestly speaking, some of their big hitters who kind of delivered now are people quote unquote like T20 who prefer to play T20 over that.
Sure,
Like,
I would. Yeah, I mean, evidently in terms of form, but I don't know if you're specifically referring to say Aiden Markram, who definitely has been one of the like top shining lights in T20. As I mean, Klassen has retired, so probably I can keep Klassen out. But the fact that he was able to be as good during IPL and translate that form into Test cricket, and of course it's two different format, Test and IPL or T20. So that was
so
really nice of him to. I think he was not the pro choice for opening. I think he put his hands up and sort of took that on him. I
in
don't
the sense like he wasn't the
conventionally though Aiden Markram,
oh,
I don't think he has been opening. He's been either one down, two down, kind of a middle order batter than an opening batter.
so I know this when like this was probably 5-6 years ago when Aiden Markram was coming up, or he had just started playing Test cricket. He actually came in as an opener, if I remember.
Oh,
From
was it okay?
cricket
I didn't know
perspective.
that. Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
when he came in, my friend, like obviously I used to be talking to my friends yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
speak about cricket. So my friend was very gung ho on him. In the sense that he was like, dude, that guy looks so solid while batting. He is so stylish. He seems to have good technique, so he'll deliver. But Markram always had that, at least in my head, he always was that player who will play a couple of beautiful shots and then give his wicket away playing a stupid shot, or he'll lose his
It's more of
concentration.
him,
Yeah,
capitalizing on the starts and showing the mettle and temperament
correct.
to
And
succeed.
then somehow the fact, again, this is incorrect of me, but somehow the way I saw him perform in IPL throughout, right?
Mm.
I somehow did not rate him as highly because I was like, he
He did
can't
fly
keep up
under
with.
the radar, like especially Nicholas Pooran and Mars to the most extent did take the limelight with their like squashbuckling, opening and batting. So as usual, people were more swayed towards their performance. Though Aiden Markram did continue to chip in with that 20, not even 20, like good 30s, 40s, like steady openings with Marsh, and of
I
course
think the secret is that Marsh and Puran are those big attacking six hitting batsmen, right? Like
exactly
Markram isn't that. That's why he almost tends to like go under
doesn't
the radar
really
of sorts.
catch the eye for sure. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, he definitely catches the eye because when he plays his shots, it's
Not in
amazing. But
the traditional sense of cricket, yes,
yeah,
but not the not what cricket
T20
has come
brand
to
of
be
cricket,
on us.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. But from Honestly speaking, I remember this conversation. Like last couple of WTC finals, India has reached the final, and uh, I mean both
Right,
times.
India.
India
I
has reached
think
the final both
this is
times.
the third final. India reached both the finals. The first one was
New
against New
Zealand.
Zealand, and the second one was Australia. I think. Yeah.
Right. The point is, both the times, just like this time, the WTC came right after the T20, like IPL, and everybody was like, "Oh, the Indian batsmen couldn't adapt. Oh, they can't change their game." Now,
True,
if
true,
you
true.
and everybody was almost invariably in one of their best forms in T20 in IPL. Now,
Australia.
the thing that we want to see is Aiden Markram, right? He was in prime form. Like he scored some 500 plus runs
Odd
in
runs in
IPL
IPL.
and he was there shining light. And to come from there to here, although he had a duck in the first
I
innings.
was about to say that he opened like when he came to crease for the second innings. I think what was
Yeah.
being spoken about was he's already in a like on a pair, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he should not
So
get away.
I mean,
And
having said that, still scoring 100 requires like a
oh,
good
scoring
amount
a
of
hundred
mental.
at Lords in an WTC final is going to be legendary. Like he has, I think, pretty much written his name in the folklore.
Yeah,
Like
apparently I saw some stat which is again like we can double check, but it said only three players before him have scored 100 in ICC finals against Australia. Like
oh,
in
is
the
it
years of cricket, like that tells you how dominant of a team they've been Australia in
over the years
finals.
have
In the
been no
sense that,
push.
like frankly speaking, when I'm in California. So for me, the game starts at what 2:30
4
a.m. in the
or
morning.
3 a.m.
So
Okay.
when I woke up and then I checked the score, I saw Tenda Babua was on 60s previous night. He got out, seems to have gotten out immediately. Then Tristan Stubbs, who
Yeah,
I like
the
watching him
first
play, but
session.
again got out for 8. I mean, I'm sure at that point they would have been like panicking because Australia
No,
being Australia,
they,
if they get the sniff, they generally run through you.
no, for sure, for sure. You bring up a good point. I think we all sort of got carried away with what Aiden Markram did because of his like glorious and big
Yeah,
100.
yeah, yeah.
But I think the juncture at which Tenda Bauma walked in, he did play the innings of an anchor, innings of a captain who steadied the ship in the sense that he showed solidarity. He didn't seem to be beaten. He of sure he didn't play IPL or T20 cricket.
Yeah.
Again, not to say that he is that's wasting a lot, but at that juncture having what 144, I don't know, they got out South Africa in their first innings got out for a pretty
136.
138 or so exactly.
Yeah.
So to show that solidarity and to actually bring that test match temperament in and to put that partnership with Aiden Markram, it is as commendable as of course Markram will probably take away the limelight and the headlines, but he was definitely like the spine behind the whole the team and of course the partnership.
Honestly speaking, like Markram definitely he is the man of the match. So he's going to take all of the plaudits. But Tenda Babuma and Bedingham, like both of them, they were the ones who scored the runs in the first
The first
innings.
innings as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're
And
right.
in the second innings also, once Babuma, like after playing that anchoring innings, Babuma got out, Stubbs got out. It was Bedingham who actually stayed with like Markram and
Right.
finished the game off. Like honestly speaking, I think he made his debut against India in the last whatever like Test
Mhm.
series where we went to South Africa. I saw him coming in, and he was this tall fellow who was kind of coming in with attacking shots. He was hitting the ball and kind of throwing our bowlers off their legs. I thought, man, somebody coming in at like that lower position, like how good can they be? Like they'll probably get out, like a few shots, like flurry, and then they'll get out. But he ended up scoring some 50 odd against India, and he actually did like build that partnership there and took the game away.
In the
Even
debut series, I know, yeah.
correct. Even here, when he came in, they were not in the best of conditions. Frankly speaking, they were struggling. Like Markram, Rickleton, Mulder, Stubb. Yeah, I think all four had gotten out, and he had come in like with
No,
a
yeah, for
40
sure.
odd score.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a big deal that some of these, how do I put this, like lesser, celebrated players are actually
Players
turning up for
came
him.
into the foray, and no, for sure, yeah, agree.
But beyond everything, see, you can say that the batsmen they won it, but frankly speaking, the bowling choices or the team selection that South Africa made kind of worked out really well. There was conversation about picking Patterson or Ngidi,
On
and Ngidi in the
yeah,
first innings uh, got hit for what, 845 something in 8 overs. Like he got smacked,
I think he did, yeah.
and then to come back in the second innings and then take those like crucial
Crucial
wickets at that.
breakthroughs. Everyone chipped in, especially South Africa's second innings. I don't know. They sort of found form, and not to there was a little change in the weather that sort of helped the batters towards the third fourth day. But again, nothing to take away from the overall team or the spirited performance. I think going to the match, no one. Even after the team 11s were put up, no one would have dared to bet on South Africa, and the way they sort of came out.
Honestly speaking, South Africa. So I was again like reading this. South Africa apparently like were in really good form or had played really well to get, but South Africa being South Africa,
Sure,
unfortunately,
they
like
they they've been dubbed the perennial chokers, right? For
correct,
for
right?
everything that they have seen and gone through. And hey, like honestly, it's a different sport, different format. But even the T20 final to sort of lose it from
From
30
that
ball 30,
position, right.
this definitely should feel very satisfying, and
Oh, I mean, in any final, like any final beating this Australian team, no matter what you say, they're in bad form, their players are at the over the
oh yeah,
edge,
for sure.
on players, no matter what you say, Australia is Australia in finals. Like they
They turn
managed to
up
turn
in
up.
big games. They have that
Perfect.
big game temperament, and honestly, it was probably the I think both the teams had arguably equally good bowling lineups. It was the batting that had to make the difference,
Yeah,
had to make
yeah.
the difference, and South Africa's second innings batting showed
I
that.
honestly thought Australia would kind of edge that because, like, I hate that guy, Steve Smith, because he always ends up turning up against
He
India.
has
But
some
no, he
antics and
delivers.
theatrics going. Yeah,
He delivers. So even in the first innings when he scored a 50 odd, like he looked so comfortable. I thought he's gonna take it away.
sure.
Man, like the bowling by South Africa, I had to take that review to actually dismiss him in the second
Yep,
innings. Steve Smith was like a inspired
was
choice.
definitely a good. Yeah,
Right?
agreed. Yeah.
So, I mean, overall, like super nice for cricket.
No,
Hopefully,
for
like
sure.
with
Yeah, agree.
this, like the viewership and everything starts coming up, and then South African, like, see, it's difficult to bet.
This such games are probably what are going to make Test cricket more competitive, more interesting. Unlike T20, I think the test matches can get boring if like one teams end up scoring 500,
Yeah,
six
yeah,
hundred
yeah.
runs. That's probably 2 days of test match cricket. So maybe low to mid scoring games are probably like the theme or future for
But see
keeping
that.
the game alive.
So again, like with my friend, like that's a good point. And honestly speaking, I think a low-scoring game in Test matches is much more interesting and exciting to watch
I
than
know it
a game
definitely
where
keeps you the edge of the seat. Yeah.
yeah, where somebody scores 500, 550 and whatever.
Yep.
But the thing to like that brings us to a nice segue in the sense that if a test match ends in 3 days in India, where 14 wickets fall, 15 wickets fall in a day,
There's always
is
questions
that
raised about the pitch and
perfect? Perfect. Now here there are 14, 15 wickets falling. I think the first 2 days 14, 15 wickets fell, like I think consistently. But nobody is questioning like the pitch.
I
It's
think
sometimes I feel there is a definitely a case of double standards where you're like, oh,
for
seaming
sure.
wicket is still good, but the
I know.
spinning
Yeah,
wicket
yeah,
is
yeah.
bad.
I don't know if it can be done this way, and if ICC can sort of put out a statement out there. I think ICC and like match referees are out there to sort of adjudicate the conditions of the pitch, and pitch and discussions about the pitch should be sort of taken out of the discussion, in the sense that it somehow feels that you're taking the merit out of the players. Like sure, there are some conditions, there are some pitch conditions that are going to aid someone's strength, and probably make them look better, or play into their hands. But that's it. it is also part of conditions. It is, call it, it is something similar to, having, a windy day, overcast day, or a sunny day. It's all part and parcel of the game. And, it is the challenge that you need to overcome and sort of win through to win a test match. That is why it's, in the first place called a test match, right? You are challenged. You are like at the end of your wits. And that is what makes this sweeter, yeah.
Like, honestly speaking, like, how do I put this? A home condition or winning an away series has always been one of the most difficult things to do in Test cricket. Like,
Yep.
there is a reason, right? You want to prepare pitches which suit your style of play. Like,
Sure.
South African pitches are bouncy, like fast. Australian pitches tend to give good bounce and pace on the wicket. English conditions, it swings around all over the place. Same with New Zealand. New Zealand, even more so, I think. Like, it's like you
Yep.
almost at times. I remember in my childhood when I used to watch India New Zealand Test series like early in the morning at 4 o'clock from India. I used to struggle to know what is the pitch and what is the outfield. It used to be that green.
That green. I would say first day, even this pitch looked like this. I wasn't able to make the difference between like is the pitch has grass in it or is the pitch in the ground itself.
Correct.
But
So
yeah,
like that is their strength. Like see some like
oh, sure.
New Zealanders they don't have it'll be wrong on my place to say they don't have express pace. There have been some unbelievably fast bowlers from New Zealand coming
Spin
in.
bond.
No, I mean definitely. But like I feel swing bowling has been their choice of weapon like in the
40,
last
yeah.
decade and a half. Tim Southee and your Trent Bolt, they've ruled the roost for them. Like they swing the ball in out. It's
Yep.
unbelievable. And they've won test matches. Like I think again, India has won test series in Australia. India has won test series in England. India has drawn a test series in South Africa, but I don't think India has ever won a test series in New Zealand because,
Even
like,
South
at least in
Africa. I
the
don't think
recent
they've won in South Africa either.
no, agreed. But
Yep.
at least in South Africa, it seems like we have looked the part where we're like we're almost winning, but then we end up losing.
Sure. I
Like we're
agree. Yeah,
almost
yeah.
there, we end up losing. But in New Zealand, I don't think India has ever looked
We've
in a
been
poor test
outplayed.
cricket
Yeah, I don't think we've come close to even sessions in
outplaying
the
them.
match where we felt we had the upper hand. Yeah.
No, I mean the biggest example I have is that Brendan McCullum innings, man. Like
Oh my God,
you
that's yeah.
no,
And that is, I think, an all-time classic. And the fact that he had to come against. So growing up, I always used to keep scores of, which batter, which bowler had their best scores and figures.
yeah,
And,
trump cards.
7 out of 10 used to be against India. And I used to feel like, man, like, why is this case always like,
Correct, right?
but
Actually, does Saeed Anwar have his 194 against India?
193, I don't know, 193 against
Yeah,
India in Chennai. So that is,
yeah.
yeah.
Jayasuriya has that 189 against India.
No, let's not go down that path. This is going to get embarrassing as to how much as personal best scores we remember
Yeah,
of players.
that's
But yeah,
true though. Okay,
there's one
but
thing I wanted to sort of give props to.
mhm. Go on.
No, yeah, I was gonna say one thing that caught my attention through the World Test Championship final was Pat Cummins's first innings bowling performance. I think he sort of single-handedly brought. I should not say brought Australia back into the game. He sort of put a strong hold of Australia and like strengthened that grip. Like his what 6 for 28 showed that he's man for like big occasions and sort of deserves that title, whatever, captain, being the captain of the team. He always like pulls that fox out of the box and puts his sort of hands up and shows up that he's the
Like to
post
think,
one for them.
this guy when he first broke onto the scene, he was affected by back injuries and injuries so much to the point where people weren't sure whether he'll come
True, true,
back, whether
true.
he'll bowl.
I
From
know.
that point to bowl, like touch wood, like hope he keeps playing Test cricket for a long time. Like to bowl 7 over spells, 6 over spells at that pace and at that menacing
Mhm.
ability consistently day over day, and then not just bowling, like taking 6 wickets, 5 wickets against
And
India.
then being the captain, rallying the team. No,
Correct. Even
that plays.
against India, right? He always turns up, man. He always turns up in Australia when they're down, when they need somebody to take
Yeah.
a wicket, he comes up. It's insane. The amount of talent and the determination that that dude has. It's
The
unbelievable.
another less spoken things about Pat Cummins might be his innings of, I don't know what it was. I don't know how much he scored. He scored some 12 odd runs of 70 balls. And he was partnering Glenn Maxwell during his during the famous chase against Afghanistan. I
Yeah.
know it is of less relevance, but again, the point I'm trying to make is he knew his part that day, and he stood his ground and sort of took the team
It's
over.
all about temperament, right? It's all about that big game, like
Very, very true,
ability to
very true.
understand what is needed of you, what you have to do, and then kind of delivering.
And,
It's
and another less spoken aspect of the game is we often talk how batters have to adjust coming out of T20 to Test match cricket in terms of holding the bat light, or playing the ball, leaving the ball outside off stumps. But so is true for bowlers as well. Like you bowl a different line and length when it comes to a Test match to sort of induce those uh, call it edges, or make the sort of slips come into play. Again, arguably, bowling is definitely way more laborious than being a batter or batting. So just wanted to call that out, the fact that he was able to pretty seamlessly transition and get through over to Test match cricket is again props to him and
I
his
think the core
incredible
of
talent.
them, Ryan, Hazelwood, Stark, and
Oh,
Cummins,
yes, good.
they are. I think in our like I remember our parental generation talking about the fast bowling quartet
Fast
of West
bowling greats of their
Indies,
generation.
the crazy fast bowlers who used to run in like hard and then be a menace where
True,
the
true, true.
batsman can't score. In our generation, I think this is we have to like
Oh, for
rank it
sure. I
among the
think, yeah, when we started watching cricket, it was almost like fag end of, say, a McGrath's career. So you don't really know what that meant. But then having, say, watched cricket for so long, this is what you realize. Okay, this is what our parents and people of our like, parental generation used to rave about. Like
Yeah,
how
right. I
what
mean,
that player.
metronomic, dude, metronomic. Like they've been playing tests together for a decade or something, and they always turn up.
True.
Any conditions, wherever they play, somebody puts their hand up in the time of need, and then they pull the game off.
True.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
For sure.
But now
Mm-hmm.
that you brought the topic about transitioning from T20 to Test cricket, India is going to England or has already reached England for their uh, Anderson
The
Tendulkar,
newly renamed Tendulkar
newly
Anderson
renamed
Trophy.
Anderson Tendulkar
Or Tendulkar
Trophy.
and yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Depends on which side of England. So I think I was watching these highlights of the practice game, and Nasser Hussain was calling it Anderson Tendulkar Trophy. I don't know if it's Anderson Tendulkar or Tendulkar Anderson. I don't know if you want to have a debate there, but yeah, we can definitely share our views on the name and you know.
Sure. I mean, it's. I personally feel, in my mind at least, nostalgia somehow makes people maybe much bigger than what they are. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I mean, let me caveat it by saying I'm not saying they're not as big. It's just that when you talk about, say, a Virat Kohli scoring X number of runs, like
Yeah.
he's probably one of the best batsmen of this generation, and then you talk about a Sachin Tendulkar in his generation, somehow because Sachin's retired, there are those legends of Desert Storm, the 248 without the cover drive, whatever. Everybody seems to think, Sachin Tendulkar is this like 7 foot 5 inches man who's never going to be
It's
surpassed. And then
definitely a
Virat Kohli,
sleeper.
and everybody says, Virat Kohli scored against like relatively lesser bowling. Or like let's not talk about Sachin Virat. Even otherwise, right? You talk about players who've gone in the past. Like when you talk about even from a how do I put this? Like a Sir Garfield Sobers, like Vivian Richards. Like Vivian Richards, you're going to Sir Viv Richards. Like for you, you're gonna be like the stories that you've heard about him. It's like, man, that guy just comes and smacks. That guy just comes and hits. Like he's a legend. So if a trophy is named after them, you're like, sure, he's that big of deal. Like the fact that
They had that
Anderson,
folklore.
right, folklore, perfect. The fact that Anderson hasn't yet sort of retired from all forms of cricket. He's still playing domestic in England, and the fact that he put his name in the IPL auction, like
He's
so,
playing county cricket now as well.
correct, and there are reels of him taking wickets. It's amazing, like the kind of energy that man has. But the point is the fact that he's still playing. I somehow, when it first came out, the name change came out. I'm like, dude, he's still playing. Like, is
I mean, I
he
had my
at
own.
that level? But when you look back at the numbers, right, the number of test wickets he has, the longevity in the game that he has,
So
it's
I looked this up. He has 149 wickets in just India England Test series, and I looked this stat up on ESPN Cricket Info. And the next highest wicket taker, I think, is R. Ashwin. I'm not sure. Has 114 wickets. So there is like good 30 plus wickets tally difference between him and like the next best bowler. Just to show that the name sort of grew on me. Like I agree. I agree
that's
that
actually
I had the same feeling as you. Oh, is Anderson really as phenomenal
legendary
cricketer
to
as he?
kind of name
But
the
then if you
series.
just take a pause and like look back at his career, I think he's still 43 or something.
Yeah, I thought
Not
42. I thought, yeah,
still
whatever.
young enough to come and swing our way through our middle order. But if you look back at all that,
I like how you said swing his way through our middle order.
no, that is typically what I mean. If we look back at all our like India England series in England, he has been the thorn in the horn. He has repeatedly haunted us. Like that is probably even an understatement to say that. Like
Yeah.
his ability to sort of swing the ball both ways, man. So yeah, if you look at all that and his longevity as a fast bowler to play until like 42 or whatever, it sort of does justice to the fact that he is definitely up there. He is one of the legends of modern day greats.
Honestly speaking, that's actually a good point. Like, you've seen batsmen play till 40 plus, whatever. Like, they can sort of play that
Exactly,
as
for
a,
a bowler
even
who
for
is
a bowler. Spinners you've seen play that long, but actually seeing a fast bowler play that long and be equally potent to the point where if tomorrow somebody tells me Anderson is playing the series, I'd be
for
like
sure.
that's
No, agreed. He's definitely the one to watch out for always. So yeah.
I still have like cheap thrills, right? When you're sitting around, you don't know what to watch on TV, and then you just put a video of Anderson swing deliveries. Like,
Yeah.
you see those balls where, like, if you click a pic, like if you play a video of the ball coming out of his hand,
No.
if you click like 10 pictures, the seam would look identical
Pretty
everywhere. Like,
pretty clean, consistent, and repeatable
oh
action
my
for
god,
that
like
matter.
it's
Yeah.
unbelievable. It's almost like they are taking a picture and kind of moving it about to show that his seam is moving, and
Agreed.
then the way it swings and laid to like remove the off. Like, so
Mhm.
many batsmen are squared up, man. They're trying to play a flick,
For
and
sure.
the ball is
Yeah.
taking their off stump. And I think the thing that I'm sure everybody's talked about it. But the thing that I liked about it is his outswing is legendary. Like, I don't think
Oh, yeah.
anybody could say they have covered his outswing. But the fact that despite having such a potent weapon in him, he developed that in swing where he bowls it with that exact same wrist position. He brings the ball in. If a batsman is worried that, oh, it could come in, and when his outswinger is that good, it's recipe for disaster, dude. No wonder he's taken so many wickets, and
Sure.
him
Yeah.
and Broad kind of were their stalwarts for a
Mhm.
decade, probably. It's unbelievable.
The other end of the spectrum, I was looking at so like since we spoke about bowlers and who's been like the top wicket takers in India England series. Do you want to guess who is the leading run getter in India England Test series?
Oh wow. I I somehow felt, I mean, I don't know if in the past few years things have changed. I somehow felt Alistair Cook was like a thorn in Indian
Oh, he's
in-
he's up there. I know.
yeah.
He in fact I remember it was 2007, I think. He made debut against India
Okay.
in Nagpur or somewhere, and I think he scored centuries in both of his like innings. That was him like announcing himself on the big
He
stage.
is was that batsman who had, like, if as Indians, you talk about patience, you talk about Rahul Dravid. For England, if you talk about patience, I will talk about Alistair Cook. He knew outside the off stump, he will
For sure.
keep leaving
Yeah.
the ball. On the stumps, he'll keep defending the ball. And then that one
I
ball,
know.
full balls, or on the pads, he'll hit it away and then score. His strike rate will be low. But as long as he's on the crease, at the crease, you can't put your guard down. Like, he
For
keeps
sure.
scoring
Yeah. Yeah.
piles of runs. But bringing back to a point,
I was about to
I
say
would,
back to the question
yeah,
on
I
who
will,
to.
I
So
will go.
I will say this: he's definitely up there, but he's not the top run getter.
Oh wow, really?
He's
Wow.
probably in the top 5, but he's not the top run getter.
Oh, interesting.
I'll
Is
probably
it
give
somebody
you
who's
2
playing
chances.
now?
To,
Is it
I'll,
somebody who's playing now?
no, sorry, I'm not. I'll let you guess. I'll give you 3 chances. You've already used one. What do you
Okay.
think the other 2 could be?
Oh wow. Okay. In against India, who has performed? I know Peterson scored a few runs, but I don't think he scored enough runs for us to name him like one of the best. I'll Joe Root maybe. I don't know because he
Yeah,
scored
you're
great
absolutely right.
from.
You got it right on the third time. They say third time's the charm, right? Like Joe Root
Hey,
is at some 2,800 runs, and Tendulkar is at like 2,500 runs. So pretty close.
Dude, you don't realize, man. I remember Joe Root was part of the Fab Four, and then
Mhm.
there was a spell where Root wasn't able to get past 50. Like, he'll score 50, he'll get out.
I
He'll
think
score
yeah, this
50,
is
he'll get out.
around COVID and post-COVID times, and say like, since that, I think in the last I don't know 4-ish years, he has hands down been the I don't know Sir Don Bradman of modern day cricket. Like his numbers are insane. Like,
Baseball helping the most unlikeliest batsman.
bad, yeah, exactly.
Because, right, baseball, they wanted to give so many of their attacking players the
True,
kind
true,
of
true.
platform to attack. Joe Root, who was supposed to be the anchor in their team, is the one who's scoring the
I
most
think
runs.
he still is. He is he's sort of the enforcer. He can play both roles, I think, overall. But he definitely tends to sort of take the back seat and like carry the innings through because they definitely have their opening pair is pretty good. So he definitely has people around him to build around. So
It's actually nice that we can talk about like the English team for this series, like
Mhm.
overall, like just touching upon it in the sense that you have what their opening, like they've had a pretty set team so far. Like, definitely the two biggest changes for them are going to be the
Just to
bowlers in Anderson
yeah.
and Broad.
No, I will definitely talk about the team. Do you want to just touch upon like form and
Sure,
sort of
sure.
yeah, form
So,
and rhythm of both the teams coming into the series, and I'm sure we would have enough time to talk about how it's going to be. So
man, the thing is, in India's case, any
how far back do you want to go? Do you want to go until BGT or do you want to go further
let's go.
and
I mean, see,
talk about India New Zealand rubbing?
no, but I think India New Zealand rubbing was definitely horrible, but for us as fans, but like I think the current face of the Indian cricket or the current way the Indian team looks definitely started at BJP. Like, you saw, I don't know what you call problems, you call troubles, you
You call
call
it the
unrest,
you want to
whatever
call
you
it the
say.
beginning of the end or
Well, for a few, definitely. Like India, like everything goes back to BGT. Okay, let's go back to BGT.
Mhm.
Like, when we were going into BGT, the first thing was we won the last two BGTs when we went to Australia. It's unbelievable, and the fact that we won the first time in
we,
Perth,
we we did
which
start
was,
with a bang. Like no
yeah,
two doubts about
ways
it.
about it. And Perth, they apparently wanted to have the first game at Perth to kind of scare us to the point where
There
this
is
is what you're going to be up
how
against.
they
And we
would go
won.
about it. Yeah.
But then, like, what do you think? See, we all know the scoreline. It's 3-1. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Indian batsman Virat Kohli. There is Cricket Australia released a clip of Virat Kohli dismissals in the series, and every one is literally identical to the previous one, where he's pending the ball outside off and getting out. Rohit Sharma dropping himself. We know all of the controversy and everything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
honestly speaking, what do you think were the few points that went wrong for India? Like, in the sense that, where did we sort of lose that series or the momentum we managed to get after the first test?
Great question. I think we can, it's sort of easy in the retrospect to, uh, pick the bones on the team and call out individual performances. I'm going to go the probably the more diplomatic route here, in the sense that it and what I'm getting to is there's probably two things that stood out to me. One on the batting side of things, the second more so on the bowling side of things. I come to the batting side of the things, and I somehow think that was our sort of bigger undoing. We definitely lacked someone like a Pujara or a Rahane, more so probably a Pujara. There were many crucial, how Test cricket has come to being these days. They talk about how many sessions you have won, and
Yeah,
ultimately
yeah.
how many were like differential enough to take you towards the victory. And I think we were there were a lot of sessions within the Test series which were like 50-50. And what could have been the differentiator is to sort of hold your nerve and just be there. Sometimes any and this could have been anyone. I'm taking example of Pujarai because he's one of the recent greats that we've had. I'd probably go back and say you probably need someone like a Dravid.
Dravid.
For that matter, you just needed someone to be there to like frustrate the bowling. And oftentimes Test cricket is probably the game of, hey, who blinks first. So you definitely needed someone to you be that spine of your team, be that enforcer, be that anchor when and even probably talk sense to the batter over on the non-strikers and be like, hey, maybe let another over pass, something like, just to sort of see through the storm. So
No,
that
that's actually a very good point. Like we saw that even in the like just a brief segue, like in the World Test Championship final, right? Everybody was going for their shots. Tenda Bumrah
exactly
was that player. You needed one person who can stay
you
there
need
and not let
someone.
the wicket fall.
True.
Like
So that for me was sort of the biggest undoing. And again, I'm not going to go back and find fault on anyone who were in the team and however they played. A lot of batters in our team have a natural game, natural instinct. So it is
attacking
sort of
instincts,
going
yeah.
to be difficult to, curb them against that. So I'm not going to sit here retrospectively and, point fingers at someone.
Yeah.
Sure, it is easy way out to say that, hey, the experienced players in the team should have done better.
Stepped up.
But again, it could have been anyone. Is my point? You just needed someone to play a Pujara-esque innings there, where you had to frustrate them.
I
That's
think of all the players in our team, right? Again, it could be my bias, but of
Mhm.
all the players in our team, the one player who could potentially have that patience is KL Rahul. Like no matter what we talk about his attacking game, beautifully. See, I know where you're getting at. KL
no.
Rahul's first game
I
of
think
the
we both are on
series
the same
is
page in terms of how classy and how custom fit KL Rahul is for
yeah.
Test cricket. I think go for it. I don't want to.
No. The reason is like I know we've had this discussion gazillion times. The first test of any series, KL Rahul is like the best batsman in the series. Scores 100, scores a 90. He looks flawless,
I
and
was
then
about
you
to
go
make
to
the
the
same
second.
statement. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
two,
problem
three,
is the
four,
fact
five.
that
He
he
scores 20,
papers.
30. Yeah.
That is the big biggest undoing for him is how I would put it. Like uh, and he could be the key. Like I would definitely look forward to him now that he is definitely like a senior sort of senior team member, and
If you actually like going back to your point of India needing a Pujara, if you remember the second innings of the first test, while Yashasvi scored a 150, the one person who
KL was
broke the
anchoring.
Pujara
Yeah,
entry
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
KL.
No, agree. It is
Agreed.
so that's the difference. I think it is the anchor piece is also role playing sometimes. Like depending on who the two batters are at the crease, someone has to, and there's no shame in calling the other player playing the second fiddle, because innings
No,
always switches. So Jaiswal and Rahul did perfectly complement each other on that front. That Jaiswal was the sort of enforcer or the aggressor, and Rahul took the back seat, and it made sense. Even his 77 odd was a perfect like test knock, like to
no.
actually
Man, we
look back
had
on it.
so much time in the test match. You just needed one big partnership. And honestly speaking, that partnership broke the back of Australian bowling.
Oh, for sure, it did,
Okay,
which
like,
is exactly what was needing, by the rest of the batting
and in
lineup
the other
in
other
times
games of
and
the series
phases
as
in
well.
different, yeah, the rest of the test matches. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, honestly speaking, I think India. Australians were much better prepared for us this
Oh,
time.
for sure. They had better
They came
strategies.
in. They came in with plans. So there are a few podcasts which I kind of keep viewing online or keep listening to online about um, cricket and in general analysis and all. So there is one where they talk about the uh, incoming or the wobble ball becoming a mainstay in the sense that apparently in the previous BGTs, Australians used to bowl like puller balls or outside off to Virat Kohli. But after a few balls, they would literally give him
One
one
teaser,
very full wicket, and then
one
he'll
big
get
ball,
that
big
boundary
window. Yeah.
shot, one, whatever. But what they did this BGT is that everybody bowled, especially Pat Cummins and Hazelwood. They bowled this wobble ball where they bowl it on a length outside off, and the batsman is unsure whether it's coming in, whether it's going out, whether it's going to
Precisely.
move.
Indecisiveness or tentativeness, sort of,
But that
what.
was a beautiful point that was like just to complete my point. There was a
Mhm.
beautiful point that was brought up on that analysis piece where it was like Kohli. It's not like every innings. Like he had what 8-10 innings. It's not like in every innings he got out within the first 15 balls. There have been innings where he played 100 balls, like 85 balls and 90
Sure.
balls, but he didn't score anything. That the point they were trying to get to was Kohli as a batsman likes to have feel bat on ball. He likes
Runs
to score.
behind his back, or,
So
Yep, yep.
he and we say Kohli does not have the patience to leave the ball. He left the ball for 80-90 balls. And at one point they bowled that sucker
That's the thing.
ball
Yep.
to bowl so that he feels, oh, this is my scoring shot, and he gets out. So it was I thought
Which
brilliant.
is, yeah,
Yeah.
which precisely probably goes back to my point in, us needing someone like Pujara-esque, because you need someone who he's okay to score like a 20 of 150 balls, but you know that you have made a dent in like the bowling team's, sort of confidence and strategies, because that plays in, right? Because it's the same thought. People, how we perceive cricket is, okay, for someone who's there, has been there for like 150 balls, 25 overs, he's now set enough to like actually score
Score.
runs and change the tide of the game. That didn't happen. That if that 100 balls could have been, say, 120, 140, maybe you never know, he would have got going.
But actually, the problem is while Virat was stuck, stuck is the right word, scoring like 20, 30 odd and 100 balls, the unfortunate part is the batsman at the other end also didn't get going.
Precisely, exactly. No one.
Like,
We had more batters in our team were of the same sort of mentality or mold.
go for
That
it.
no one exactly, and I could probably give Rishabh Pant a pass for the longest. And what I mean to say is, in the last 5-6 years, he brought that air of freshness into the test team, as someone who was able to like go after the bowling, which if you go 4 years ago, when we had like, Kohli, Pujara, Rahane as our middle order,
Middle
you
order,
didn't
right?
have that there. So it made sense for, Pant to be that batter. But somehow in the last BGT, it so felt that, everyone was trying to go after the bowling.
I think the difference was on those wickets against that
Mhm.
quality of bowling. You can have one Pant, maybe one Yashasvi, but having a team of 6 batsmen who are like Yashasvi and Pant who are want to go after the bowling. See, and these are not novices. These are not like
Yeah,
first
yeah.
class bowlers or like first time bowlers. We are talking about a quartet who are considered to be probably in the same ilk as the great
Yep.
West Indian quartet of fast bowlers. Like
I
they've built that repertoire of victories, of like getting Australia into victorious positions, and against them you have to like respect the bowling and kind of go over it. I think that is where yeah, I mean, it's like the how I think 19 November 23 is the World Cup final.
Let's.
Like that, this is a sore moment for me. Like I
I
had such high hopes,
Sure.
and it was shattered. Like I was so disappointed that India lost that series. But like, see,
What's your hype?
yeah,
No, I was going to
go
say,
on.
having sort of dissected BGT on an opportunistic front. What are your highlights? Like, if you were to name 2 or 3.
Oh, I mean, it's no doubt you have to go to the first game where you Yashasvi Jaiswal scored that
Mhm.
150 where he's telling like Mitchell Stark, "You're too slow," and then
That was definitely hilarious of him to say and tell it back, give it back
no,
to
I mean it
Mrs. Stark.
backfired. See, obviously Stark is a legend, man. That guy knows he's been through so much. He's actually like he's come out of every situation possible and kind of brought the game back for Australia. So
Mhm.
Yashasvi, see, it's young blood. And to say Yashasvi did hit Stark, he did score 150, he did win the game for India. So he was right in his place to say that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
Yeah.
it backfires. That's okay. That's the whole point of sledging. But I'll say Yashasvi, KL Rahul, uh,
Mhm.
Bumrah. Like I think Bumrah has gone beyond the point where we name him as highlights. He is the one on which we bank
Oh,
this
for
Indian
sure. Yeah,
team on.
no two doubts about it.
No, yeah.
He's probably the first ever sort of bowling superstar we've ever had. Like we can
No,
arguably say that.
Kapil Dev counts, but Kapil Dev is also renowned for his batting. Like it's
For
not
sure.
like he's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
pure bowler. Like Anil Kumble, he is renowned, but we never rated. Like, see,
Yeah,
I
Anil
don't
Kumble,
wanna
I mean, nothing to take away
as a
from
fast
the
bowler. Let's
legend.
let's rephrase it as a fast bowler because we've had some amazing fast bowlers, but nobody I feel has gotten to a point where we rate them. He is the best in the world
Sure.
unanimously.
No,
Unanimously,
for sure.
everybody rates him as one of the best, if not the best
हिंदी में
currently.
कहते हैं ना खौफ है खौफ बुमराह is a phenomenon. He's literally a psychological phenomenon to
No,
start with.
unbelievable, dude. The amount of situations where he's come up and turned a game where everybody else is looking toothless is unbelievable.
True,
And
true.
like to finish up my highlights,
Mm-hmm.
Nitish Reddy's 100.
Oh yeah, I was
No
about to
matter what
bring
you
that up.
say,
Yep.
for a young player playing in Australia under that pressure, scoring that 100 is brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. I probably would have picked up the same three, Jaiswal, Bumrah, and Nitish. Nitish being sort of the emerging player in
Yeah.
he definitely has he showed signs of skill sets in terms of being a good batter, being technically strong, and even
Mhm.
being cheeky here and there. I know I think he had some
Yeah.
couple of pull shots, swoops
Yeah.
and all, which is again pretty dynamic.
Even reverse
Um,
sweeps, right?
I just hope he develops into that fine batter that he can be, molds his temperament, and then can probably chip in like few good overs with the ball as well. That would
This,
be
I
a
mean,
great addition to
for
our
the pace that he
team.
bowls at, these England conditions are going to be the best for
Pretty
him to
much, yeah,
bowl
yeah.
if he is to become that all rounder who can bowl
Yep.
and make a difference with the ball as well. So it's going to be nice. I mean, so see, BGT having done, like, we went into BGT with one of our most experienced sides, and then now we are going
On
into
paper.
England with one of our least experienced sides in terms of the personnel.
Sure. I would want to sort of change the narrative there a bit. I agree. It is probably a less experienced side, and depending on how you want to define experience, but I don't want that to be the narrative. Honestly, like if you go back, this is probably KL and Pant's and even Jadeja's third, if not fourth trip to England.
Wow,
Uh,
really?
yeah, it is. It is. I did look up. This is definitely their third trip, or if not third, fourth trip. So,
Okay.
they've been here a few times. I would in the same mold of experience. I'd probably put now Karun Nair and even Karun Nair. I'll pick Sai Sudarshan and even Arshdeep totally on the front of them having played. If not full season, I need to go back and check if they played full season
County.
of county. But they have played good sessions of county. That for starter is we should start seeing that as and count that as experience ultimately when as a bowler or as a batter. Sure, it's a team sport, but when you are batting at the crease, what you can fall back is all of that experience and of course your own confidence and backing of your skill. So if
Sure.
you
That's
look
actually a
at
good point you brought up.
yep.
Yeah.
So when I look at this, the argument of experience in this lens or with this lens, I definitely think it is not too bad. Like sure, you don't have big names on paper. the names that you would probably read and be wary about. But given arguably how their forms were, maybe they were not really in their best shape or form to actually make that you know live up to the
That's
sort of
actually like
billing.
if you are calling a spade based on the current form, yes, like Kohli and Rohit probably would not have had they not been Kohli and Rohit. Like
Yeah, sure, exactly.
they are Kohli and Rohit, but had they not been them, they'd been just regular batsmen. Based on their form, current form they've shown in the past few series, they wouldn't be in the team. But
Sure.
the thing is, I still felt
Mm-hmm.
they had one series in them at least. I personally felt they had that, but
I felt so too,
probably
yeah. More so for Kohli, if not for Rohit, in the sense that, sure, Rohit is the captain
sure,
of
yeah,
the
yeah,
team,
I
but I
get in
somehow
terms of the
felt like with
fitness, the
Jaiswal
playing.
and Rahul, we have a pretty complementary opening pair, which
Opening
is probably
stand.
not the case with say Rohit and Jaiswal.
Yeah.
So that is one thing. That's probably the only biggest differentiating factor for me. And when it comes to Kohli, I would have had him in the team just for the sort of experience he brings in, and for the fact that he's also, as long as like my memory serves good, he's also one of those batters who failed in his first series when he came to England,
And then when he came back, he was
worked on it, and then excelled the next time around. So you also need someone of that stature in the team who can put an arm around you and be like bro, you are going to fail here, and
yeah.
probably that doesn't matter, and that experience is probably what I would have liked. And so maybe that was something we could have
No,
had in the
it'll
team.
definitely be like a big loss. I feel like both of them, like more so Kohli than Rohit, I would
Yeah.
say, because. But honestly, having said that, the last time India went to England, Rohit's
Mhm.
batting was unbelievable.
He did
He
score,
was
yeah, agreed.
he was a shining light
He
in
was,
terms of our
I think
opening.
he was in good form of his life, especially on the Test cricket. He, I don't know, had some 1200, 1400 rounds, or maybe more in that one full year, which is pretty
Correct.
commendable.
So Rohit and like I think KL was it? Yeah, KL
Rohit and KL opened the last time we were in like England. Yeah,
in England, right? They both set the platform up so beautifully for the team.
agreed.
So it is kind of unfortunate that they both aren't playing. I see. There are obviously so many rumors and news and everything about why Kohli retired and what happened with him, potential
I
team
mean,
dynamics
it's
and all of
personal
that.
decision, I would say. Like if they think I think we've all heard them. Sorry to sort of interject.
No,
The
no,
only
please,
point I
please.
wanted to make was, and I think I've heard Ashwin say and mention this a lot. As a player, I think one fine morning you wake up and you think something is not for you. It is not for you. I think it's a very big decision, especially like they have been like the legends and stalwarts for Indian cricket lately. I'm sure it was a pretty heavy decision on their part to make as well.
I mean, yes, I would. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's their call, whatever you say. And actually, it's nice that you brought in Ashwin as well. He's also like an unbelievable servant for the Indian Test team who has retired during post BGT. We're gonna we're gonna definitely. Although I would think that with England, like I don't know whether we will play him or whether we'll play Jadeja or Washington, whatever.
In the past, we've always done that one spinner approach in
Yeah.
England.
Thing in England,
So
right?
he would have definitely been the sort of scapegoat, or he would definitely
He
have found it
unfortunately
difficult
ends
to
up
get it.
being.
Yeah.
Unfortunately ends up being, but you have to give him his flowers in the sense that he is like one of the best like
Oh yeah, for
spinners
sure.
of this generation to
No
take
doubt.
about 500 plus wickets, and it's unbelievable the number of man of the matches he has. He has a record or something, right? In
Man
terms
of
of
the
the
series as
number
well.
of
Yeah.
man of the matches, man of the series or something, and test matches and all. We're gonna miss so much experience. I mean, not in England, but I remember in Australia the last time we went to, like, just a brief segue. Like when we
Mhm.
went to Australia, everybody was talking about Smith and Labuschagne, Smith and Labuschagne. Ashwin planned Smith's wicket where he had a
Oh
short,
well, I know.
then
Yeah.
he kind of played him down the pads. Labuschagne, he bowled like spinners, and then a flatter or a straighter one
Yep.
where kind of Labuschagne went back to defend and then he nicked it to the slip. he's a student of the game. He keeps thinking about the game so much.
So
If
much for
not
sure.
for himself, the others would
For
benefit
the
from
team
the
as well.
knowledge that
He
he
never
learned.
sort of, he always kept learning. So that is.
So it's going to be definitely a big like miss not having all three of them in the team. But having said that, we have what we have. It's the team that is going to go. That's what
Mhm.
we have. We are going to support and we will support.
Yep.
I feel this time the Indian team that is going to England is going to be all or nothing. Like this is my feeling. It's going to be all or nothing. In the
I
sense that
feel you. Yeah, yeah.
as we spoke about Australia, I see a lot of stroke makers. I see a lot of confident batsmen. I see a
Mhm.
lot of players who, if they get going, they're going to take the game away from you.
I feel the same way. Agreed.
At the same time, if they are susceptible to the
It's a
swinging
double-edged
ball,
sword. I know. Yeah.
yeah. So it's gonna be all or nothing, and I really hope it's all. Like
Oh,
honestly,
as a test team fan and yeah,
yeah,
even team fan, yes.
because it's the last time India went to England.
Mhm.
It's supposed to be a 5 test series. We played only 4 because of COVID, and then the one we played later, which is I don't count that as part of the same test series. It's a different world, different form.
Right.
Everybody's like, dude, the first time we went to England, Bairstow wasn't the Bairstow that we met in the 5th
For
test.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Bairstow by that point had come off scoring like multiple fast, more than 100 strike rate hundreds in the 4th innings to win the test match for England. In the first time we went to, like, the last time we went to England, he wasn't the same. Like, he was getting out to those regular test cricket shots or balls.
Yep.
Like, that definitely, I would rate that as a 2-1 win in a 4 test match series. But I think our team as a bowling and batting, we delivered. Like, we were there in those big moments. We
No.
delivered. And one big miss from that series is gonna be Muhammad Shami. Like,
Oh, yes.
he in English, in actually any overseas condition,
Most conditions. Yep.
correctly, the way he can swing the ball, the way his seam come. We spoke about Anderson's seam. Like, Shami's seam is the same.
Shami, yeah.
It's
And the sort of the purchase he would have been able to like get out of the wicket because he's someone who can like play with the seam as well. Like he's definitely known
he
for
swings
playing
and
as
seams
much
the
as
ball.
yep.
He is going to be a big miss.
I know.
So I feel from that team, if you look at this team, there are a lot of different skill sets that we have. Like for a Yashasvi,
Yep.
this is the first series. It's gonna be like his induction into English Test cricket.
English, yeah.
You're gonna have like a potentially Sai Sudarshan playing, who's gonna play his
I hope he
debut.
plays. He definitely seems to be someone who's got the goods and yeah.
But tell me, like, was Sai Sudarshan's? I mean, we know it is the truth, but you think Sai Sudarshan's form in the IPL got him into the Test team?
Yeah, it's kind of an open secret, right? Unfortunately, I think we all know the answer is yes.
Yes.
But for a change, or how do I say, of most others who made into the Indian Test team, coming out of highs of IPL, he could be someone who can like go on to be a mainstay for a longer term. Like I really hope he definitely seems to be someone who has the temperament, who has probably like built his cricket, his game based on like putting in those hard yards. Not to say that he is not skilled. He definitely is skilled. It's just that the modern day game has evolved so much, especially with T20 and like hard hitting, gung ho sort of batting coming into the foray.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, the basics of the game is gets underlooked.
It's lost. Yeah.
So again, going back to the thing, he probably seems to be more technically adept and more complete and sound of a batter we have.
I'm really excited to see him play. Like in
likewise, I agree. Like we can, I was about to say we can talk about where and how he fits into the team as well a little
but
while.
See, I mean, having said that, like so many players who are in the squad, honestly, see, you can say this is T20, IPL is T20 cricket, England, the series is Test cricket, like the form is not translatable. But there is one thing about striking the ball well, about being able to see the ball well, about
Yep.
feeling good touch. So the last series that we saw all of these players playing is IPL. So honestly speaking, no matter what you say about okay, this is do different formats, you have to look at whether at least they looked in form or whether they were able to hit the ball well in IPL to kind of judge what mental space they must be in.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
will like what do you think in terms of the players that we've picked? Like how many of them you'll say are in good nick or in good form based on the
This
current?
is my own personal opinion. I'd go less on IPL when it comes to trying to see if a given the format of the game itself, it's sort of difficult to see if players who've done in IPL can necessarily translate that form into Test cricket, just because of how in T20 cricket you probably have access to way more shots. You can be as unorthodox and out of the book as possible and still get through. Like you can still score like a fiercely 60, 70, 80 runs.
Sure.
But maybe Test cricket, you cannot really get away with all that. Like one mistake or one that act of naughtiness and sort of can get you caught. But coming back to the question, I definitely would probably put Sai Sudarshan if he gets a chance,
Yeah.
because I want him to play. I don't know if or how he sort of
The
fits
team
into
combination fits
the
in.
team's strategy and approach, but he would be the number one pick for me when it comes
For
to
number one pick.
number one pick when it comes to players
The
who
form.
can translate their
Oh,
IPL form into Test cricket.
sure, sure.
I would follow that with probably both Jaiswal and KL, in the sense that Jaiswal didn't start IPL as well, but
But he
he
ended it.
towards the end, yeah, he seemed pretty good, and even some of his shots were pretty classical.
Yeah.
He slogged. I don't want to call he slogged. There were a couple of huge sort of
Yeah,
sixes.
across the line swipes and all.
Yeah, exactly. But nothing was nothing that would not sell in Test cricket as well. So I could probably say
Sure.
that even Jaiswal, if hopefully he sets his sort of head right, he can he opened in Australia and opened the innings or
Yeah.
opened the tournament. He can definitely sorry do well. I would, at the expense of putting pressure on KL, I would say he could be someone who can do well as well. He really tends to do well. Like he opens tournaments with the best of the form. So I'd only wish he's able to translate that. Those are batters. On the bowling end, I would probably want Bumrah and Prasid to do well, or seem to be the ones who can like translate and take over their IPL form. Was Prasid the purple cap winner, or was it Noor?
I think it was. Oh, was it? No, I think it
I
was.
don't know.
I think it was
Yeah,
Prasid. Hazelwood came in second or something. I
right.
believe.
So I would definitely bank on these two, and I think Siraj I think you brought up a point of how wobble seam can
Bobble
be
seam works.
effective
Yeah.
in Test cricket. Siraj probably is probably the
Best proponent of
number
bobble
one
seam for
proponent of that skill and art in the team. So I would say all of these players can really do well.
I was actually very pleased with the way Siraj started IPL. Not because like
Mhm.
in the sense that it's white ball and red ball, but the fact that he was opening the bowling and he was getting those wickets off good swinging balls. I thought he was bowling 140 plus, close to 150 sometimes.
Mhm.
I thought he was pretty in good rhythm at the first half of the IPL. Second half, he kind of tailed away.
Yep.
But, like, yeah, I mean, when you play 14, 16 games, it happens. But,
So it happens, yeah.
yeah,
Right.
I thought but he had that really good rhythm going. If he can get that going, it's going to be interesting. Like, how he kind of.
Certainly.
Because the last time we played here, he was a key, like,
He
asset
was
for the
agreed. Though Bumrah and Shami were probably the
Shami
leading wicket takers, but he played a
key role in
pretty
important
good
times. In
and
important times, like he did deliver by picking those wickets.
Mhm.
I actually like want to talk a little bit more about Shubman Gill. Like, see, new captain. He is like he's the poster boy. Like there was
the
this.
prince that was promised.
No, there was that. controversy. I won't say controversy, but whatever. Like he apparently in the poses that he did as a captain, he has a MRF bag which has Prince written on it. Kinda like that's the marketing that they did. But
Yeah.
the
Wonder
point
if
the point is sure, like he is hyped, incredible hype, and then Prince, oh, he's the next one, he's the best that there is. He has a long way to go, I'll say, in Test cricket to still cement his place in the team, let alone being called a Prince or the next big thing. But frankly, again, like we'll talk about team discussions or team formations later. But Gill is going to be in the team. Like let's settle on that.
yeah,
So with him being in the team, I would personally want him to take Sachin's then Kohli's number 4 position because he is a stroke maker. I don't like number 3. We've spoken about Pujara. We've
you
spoken
need
about
someone who
Dravid.
can
So
navigate the
correct.
swing,
I won't say navigate the swing, more about patience. Right. It's about
patience,
playing
and
that long innings without scoring those
someone
runs,
who
just
can be
staying in the
long enough to sort of see the ball grow old.
correct. So I don't think honestly, I'll be happy for him to prove me wrong. But I
Mhm.
don't think at this point he's that player. He likes to hit those strokes, those boundary balls. So I feel number 4 is a good position for him because in an ideal scenario, he comes in around the 20-30 over mark where the ball is slightly old. It hasn't swung, or even if it swings, it swings from the hand. Like you
Yep.
can see where the ball is going. He can
Mhm.
line himself, score those runs, get
Yep.
those whatever big scores. So and there have been those videos circulating of him facing Bumrah in the nets where he's trying to leave the ball and all of that. Like I I really want to see that guy deliver. Like there have been so many
No,
like
for sure.
points about
He's so far been, dubbed that the prince that was promised, as it were.
sure,
He
yeah.
definitely needs a statement knock to like literally like
I will say statement
shed the
series.
critics.
I'll
Yep.
say statement series instead of a statement knock
At
because
least,
I think he's
start
had
with.
those statement knocks. He's had one-off knocks here and there, but the consistency is what has been
No,
lacking.
especially within like red ball and probably as always it gets questioned. His red ball form in like Sena countries have not been that good.
Horrible.
Like,
Let's
yeah,
call it spade a
exactly.
spade.
I
Horrible.
think his first tour of Australia down under that
Does
90 odd he scored as an
yeah.
opener is probably the
Highlight.
the lighthouse
Yeah.
of his innings. But that's it. I agree. You definitely have a fair point. It would be interesting to see if Team India and the management actually makes that change and doesn't actually see that as a as
Demotion, but
as a
instead of
demotion or a step down. And for
yeah,
that
yeah,
matter, Kohli, back in the day when he led the team, he used to be number 3 batter in ODI, but was a number 4 batter
correct,
in Test. And
correct.
you can go all the way back to even like a Tendulkar. Like he was an opener, for
In
ODI
ODI.
white ball cricket, but then he was at number 4. So if you go by that logic and semantics, like sure, agreed. He definitely on paper solves for the sort of the strengths and opportunities
Yeah.
he has.
Yeah,
So he would
honestly
definitely.
speaking, if you look at the Fab Four, both of them are the best players in any side. They
Have
came in
been
at number
coming
four.
at number 4, huh?
They
Yeah.
came in at number 4. Like Root, I think, is number 4. Steve Smith is number 4. Kohli is number 4. You had Brian Lara, who was number 4. You
Kane
had
Williamson? Was he 3?
Kane Williamson was 3. Wasn't
Yeah.
Kane Williamson 3? I think there are only a couple of people who sort of broke the mold and were kind of
Yeah,
number
yeah,
3
yeah.
kind of batsmen.
But you
But
were
if
right. Most
yeah,
people.
stroke makers, free flowing batsmen, all of them were number 4.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
like him having cemented himself as that player in ODI. See, in ODIs, there is no question. He is definitely the next big thing. He's actually probably the current big thing.
He's
Like,
already a big thing. Well, yeah. Let's
yeah.
acknowledge it.
So he has definitely been that. We've seen the class. Even in IPL, some of the innings he played. Sure, it's IPL, but it's not like he was slogging. Like he has played proper, authentic cricket shots and scored those runs. The thing is how he translates that onto seaming wickets or swinging wickets. But
Mhm.
see, I'm not saying Vokes isn't great. But the moment I look at an England side, I don't see a Broad and an Anderson.
I
Somehow the
I was
hopes kind
this
of glow saying India can do something against this.
Yeah, agreed. That I had the same feeling. I was looking at the test England test squad for the first test at least. It definitely seems to be a game of India's bowling versus England's
Their
batting. And somehow you feel India's batting can like nab
get over their
their
bowling.
bowling.
See,
Yeah, exactly.
I
So
mean that brings to a good point. Like let's talk about their like kind of squad. Like from a
Mhm.
bowling perspective, like from a batting perspective, I think it's pretty straightforward. You have Crawley, you have Ben Duckett, you have a Root, you have Jacob Bethel, you
Yep.
have a Harry Brook, you have like Jamie Smith. I think will keep for
Ben
them.
Stokes. I don't know if you mentioned
Yeah,
Ben
Ben Stokes
Stokes.
is back, right? Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah, Ben Stokes. So your their batting is pretty much like what you expect it to be.
Their batting is pretty solid. They
Oh,
are
it's
definitely like
unbelievable.
front heavy.
And I mean, actually, not even front of it. The top six, anybody can change the game. Like
Sure.
honestly
Agreed.
speaking,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
anybody can change the game. But if you look at their bowling, they have a Overton. I think it's Craig Overton. They have they have a
Chris Wokes?
No, Chris Wokes, I think, is that guy who is a remnant from the Anderson Broad generation who
Yeah,
can
yeah,
sweep the ball prodigiously, consistently, and has that ability of taking wickets.
yep,
So
yep,
Chris Wokes is definitely, I'll say, the spearhead of that team, of that bowling lineup.
yep.
Chris Wokes, Overton, I
They have
think
Brandon Cars.
Bryden Cars. I think Bryden
Brandon Cars.
Cars. There is a Tongue, another bowler,
Josh Tank, he played the England Lions game. Yep.
correct. And then they have this guy, Bashir.
Bashir is the off spin.
Bashir is an off spinner who was introduced against India. Right?
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
first series that he played, and he did well. He
He did
definitely
well.
did.
He did pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, if you look at the bowling lineup, it doesn't. See, they might prove us wrong. They might take loads of wickets. They might bowl our batting
This
lineup
felt to
out.
me like India are going through this batting transition or
Oh, that's a beautiful
metamorphosis.
analogy.
They are actually going through an era of their bowlers, sort of sunsetting and the new generation.
That's
coming in.
actually a nice word. I think.
Yeah.
But like this bowling lineup does not look threatening. And the thing to note is, most of them aren't swing bowlers. Like in the mold of Anderson,
Barring Chris Wokes, I would say Chris Wokes
barring Chris
definitely
Wood.
has good. Yeah.
Most of them. See, so that's why when even Indian bowlers, frankly, Prasidh Krishna and a Siraj don't look
They're
that
more
like
like a
that
beat the dark
swinging
deck and
bowlers.
seam bowler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more seam bowlers. So it's gonna be really interesting how they are able to. The Australian team that we saw was seasoned. They knew how to deliver. So
Oh,
you can't
yes.
really draw comparisons between how we played against them versus how we play against the
Hmm.
English bowling. Because if they're also inexperienced, if they miss their line, we have batsmen who can put them away. So I am really looking forward to how we play. And like honestly speaking, just going back now that we are on the topic, like going to their batting, man, that Harry Brook, like the last series that they
Oh my
played,
God.
two series that they played against, I think New Zealand and then against Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe,
You wouldn't want to count Zimbabwe, I agree. And even let's say if you don't want to count Zimbabwe, you can go even back to like Pakistan where he scored
correct.
300
Man,
something.
against New Zealand, like Harry Brook was on fire. That guy
Yeah.
was scoring hundreds for fun. He
Fun,
looks
yeah.
to be their next big. I mean, he is already there.
He has
They
established
gave him their
himself.
VIP.
They have found a good middle order successor to Joe Root. Joe Root looks young. Let's put it that
He
way.
always looks young. He always looks young.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they are pretty solid when it comes to their batting. I don't
I
think.
am really wary of Root and Brook playing in that middle order.
In the
It
batting
kind of
position,
gives
yep.
me the vibes of a certain like Labuschagne and Smith, or like a
Agreed.
Smith and Clark. Like for
As
that
much as I
matter.
hate to admit it and agree to it, but it definitely seems to be that case. They
Yeah,
they
because
need
if
to
they get
keep
going,
going.
both of those are stroke makers, are sensible. They know how to play in English conditions. They can legitimately take the innings or the game away from us. I'm the again now Brook Ben Stokes. I personally rate him again as an Indian. You are gonna be questioned. How can you do this? But I rate him to be the best all rounder of this generation because honestly speaking, maybe skill wise, there are players who are better than him at individual skills. Like at batting, maybe might be there is a batsman who's better than him. As a bowler, maybe there is somebody better than him. But as a complete package, I feel the amount of heart, the
I
amount
agree.
of determination
Yes.
that he puts in, and you talk about big moment players, he is that big
I
moment player.
think agree. That is one thing. I think the point you're trying to make is he's as good of a batter as good as a bowler he is. Like
And as good as a fielder, dude. He
and fielder,
changes
agree.
games in all three
Like
facets.
as the modern day game has come to be, we often say he's a batting all rounder or she's
Correct.
a bowling all rounder. But he can truly be someone whom you can you know put in the same bracket as I don't know a Carlos or a Flintoff and be like he's as good with the bat as as good with the ball as well. So
Although I don't know whether he'll bowl now or how much he'll bowl or what his back and knee are,
mhm.
but honestly speaking, his return to the team is a huge, huge, huge advantage
Psychological
because
factor as well.
man, that guy.
We,
Yesterday, I
I
was at a
think.
friend's place. I was
Uh-huh.
seeing the Headingley test that he finished off.
Oh my
Like
god.
the thing, see, his batting is legendary. Like what he did in that innings is legendary. But the thing that is less spoken about is when Australia were batting and scoring runs, he bowled 8 over spells, running in, like putting his heart
Great.
out and getting those important wickets off deliveries where in his seventh, eighth over,
Yeah.
he's shattered. He's hitting the deck where it's bouncing and hitting the glove and going to the keeper.
I know.
So I don't know if you remember this. I think the last time England came to India, Rohit Sharma scored 100.
Mhm.
He looked in pristine form. Ben Stokes, who wasn't going to bowl in the series, who hadn't bowled in years, the first ball he comes in, pitches,
True, true,
straight,
true.
knocks his off stump off. Like you can see that guy is meant for moments when his team is in trouble.
Yeah, you know what? After you saying such high praises for Ben Stokes, I now have to go back and be like, are England actually that light on their bowling, or they've got just enough of them to like come pitch in and make it an
So
interesting
I
game?
I personally rate Ben Stokes pretty highly. So like it's gonna be key how he plays.
Mm-hmm.
Like their team, I will say, is it's not threatening, but it definitely has. I mean, doesn't look as threatening as the previous English teams did, probably. But there are a few players or elements in that team which can take the game away from them. Even
Sure.
the openers, frankly, we didn't touch on them. But Ben Duckett and Zach Crawley, Ben
Zach
Duckett
Crawley?
especially is coming off crazy form.
Yep,
Like
yep,
if
yep.
they get going, they score at a really fast rate
I
and they
know.
just run away from the game.
True.
Yeah. So having said that, now
Mhm.
that we discussed English like team, let's go back to India to say, okay, at least there is news about Bumrah not playing all 5 games, but it is safe to assume between the two of us, he's going to play the first time. Like he will.
I would say so. Yeah, he didn't. He seems to at least through the IPL. I don't think he has had any legals. Of
Any
course, there's
niggles,
been
injury.
4 overs and probably no spell longer than 2 overs. And yeah, we'll see. I think yeah, sure I would want him to play all 5 test matches. What's going to help is hopefully the other bowlers in our team and in the playing 11 start to sort of share some of that burden, so you don't just need Bumrah everywhere. Like you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and I think
We
we
saw that in
can.
Australia, man.
Yeah, I think we can do that. I think we have enough firepower with Siraj and Praseed in the team. Hopefully, I'm assuming these two are going to start as well. We have enough to cover Bumrah to an extent that we can what do they call it? Manage the
Manage
workload.
the bowling.
The
But
workload. So
speaking,
yeah.
I'll only believe it when I see it. In
No,
the sense
sure.
that,
I'm just being way too optimistic and
yeah.
way too hopeful.
And the thing to note is the last time where we saw the Indian bowling being toothless and like Bumrah having to do everything, the captain was Rohit Sharma. Now the captain is a Shubman Gill.
I
Like
know,
you
yeah.
have no clue what kind of a captain he is in test matches, how he's going to manage the
No
bowling.
one knows. I don't think he has even like captain in Ranji and to say
No,
the
I
name.
think he in Ranji he is
He
the
has it.
Punjab
I don't
captain.
know.
I
Okay.
believe he is the captain, but either way, I mean it's a
Yeah. I know. I see what you're saying. I agree.
Yeah.
It's
But
it's
it's
tricky.
gonna
Yeah.
be super interesting how they manage Bumrah or how they use Bumrah plus how they use the other bowler. Because more than Bumrah is gonna deliver whenever he comes in. I think it's going to be key to see if the other bowlers are used in the right way where they can deliver.
I agree.
Especially somebody like Nitish Kumar Reddy. Like, okay, let's go through our 11.
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
KL and Yashasvi, they're going to
I
open.
agree. KL and Yashasvi to open. That is.
Yeah, let's set down that. Number 3, I think both of us want Sai to be number 3, but given the way Indian team has backed, or the fact that Karuna has scored a 200 in the practice games, and the fact that Gautam Gambhir has come out with a statement saying, "Hey, he has delivered. He's played in county,
Yep,
and
yep,
we're
yep.
going to give him a long run." I feel he's going to get the number 3 spot because that's where he played in our practice game.
Oh,
So,
is it? No, I think that is agree. I think he probably played number 3 because of the setup of the practice team.
sure, but the fact that he delivered there kind
I
of now
think he
makes
would
him a
still
number 3.
be. He'd still come at number 4, and Gill will
Gill at number
retain
3.
his number 3 spot. Yeah.
Sure. So let's say Karun or Gill
It's
kind of come number 3, number 4.
yeah.
And then number 5, you will have Rishabh Pant, I'm presuming.
Yeah, I actually want Sudarshan and I'm probably force fitting Sudarshan in at number 5 because I want him to be in the team.
Right,
Maybe
right.
the way I honestly the way I see the cards and odds for Sudarshan to play out is him or Sai to play out is him being at that number 5 and slowly probably even progressing up the ranks to probably a 3 or 4. And yeah.
मैं हिंदी में बोलता हूँ, नंबर 5 पे तूने अपने घोड़े को कैसे नहीं रखा?
No, bro. It's for
everybody concerned, his ghoda is Dhruv Jurel.
My ghoda is Dhruv Jurel. I have I back him way so much. I do want him to do well as well, but I think it's going to be difficult. We like the first choice keeper has to be. He is Pant. He's the vice captain of the team as announced.
100%.
So I don't see him. See Jurel get a chance, but I do know for a fact that he is also someone who has that temperament and to probably go the long way. So maybe in the months and years to come, I would definitely want Karan to be a mainstay and be around for a long time. But let's accept. I think he's 33, 34. He's pretty he seems fit. He might just end up playing another 5 years. Who knows?
Man, in IPL the direct hits he scored were like amazing. He was actually really
well. Point being, you never know how or where Jurel might come in, but we digress. So coming back, I'd probably force fit Sudarshan there, or if not, maybe assuming the team management would want to go very batting, bowling or all-rounder heavy, you might just have a Nitish Kumar come at 6 with Pant being at 4. I should have put it that way.
5. Oh, so you're saying Pant at 5, Nitish at 6, Jadeja at 7?
Jadeja at 7, yeah.
Oh, so you're saying we'll go, okay. So if going by that way, then you'll have, what, Shardul will also play? Number 8?
No, so my pick for the 8, 9, 10, 11 are, and in no particular order, of course, is going to be Bumrah, Siraj, Prashid, and Arshdeep.
Oh wow, you're going with like the full space quartet, like everybody that is available, just put them in the team.
Yeah, so I was going back and looking at the India's last tour of England. We did go in with 4 pacer combination, like 4 full-time pacers. Of course, between Bumrah, Siraj, Shami, Ishant, I don't think we should forget Ishant's 6 or 7.
No, definitely. He is that one bowler who consistently kept the runs down so that the other bowlers can get a break and then come back for wicket-taking spells.
But otherwise, I'd probably just nick Arshdeep in because of his county experience, because of the fact that he can swing the ball.
Like, and he's a lefty.
And he's a lefty, so yeah, he brings a different dynamic
to it. Wow, I mean, honestly speaking, the as exciting as that looks.
Yeah,
for me, the one concern for me is that Nitish Kumar Reddy and Jadeja, I'm not sure. I don't think Nitish is ready yet to be a number 6 batter for India. I think it's one position too high for him. So I think it will be 5 and then somebody at 6. And then Nitish.
Whom would you pick? Like whom would you just?
My team. I mean, honestly speaking, I go with what you said in the sense that I want KL, Yashasvi, Sai, then I want or Karun, Gill, and then Sai, or Pant and then Sai, whatever in that order, and then you bring in a Nitish at 7, Jadeja at 8, and then you have 3 spots. You will play Siraj, Bumrah, and Prasid. But I feel English players are, see, I'm not questioning our pacers, but I feel English players are good bowler batsmen of pace versus spin. And if other than Bumrah, if you had to ask me who's an X factor in the Indian team as a bowler,
Kuldeep.
yeah, hands down, I'll say it's Kuldeep.
Yeah.
So, as
You never know. We might
you
end
are
up.
trying to force fit Sai Sudarshan. I am trying to force
No,
fit a
sure.
certain.
I agree. It's different. I could have. All right. So had we gone like 1 year ago when Dravid or probably Ravi Shastri were in the team and in the same, in the think tank of the team, maybe we've gone with like 4 pacers.
Yeah.
With GG, I somehow think the inclination is more towards like spin. So
I
you don't
think
know.
more than spin, he goes for horses for courses kind of a mentality.
Kind of a mentality as well. So maybe so I know for a fact that of the 5 test matches, both Sai and Kuldeep will play at least
He will play. Yes.
2 games
I agree.
apiece. But you're absolutely right about horses for courses approach where Kuldeep may not. I don't know. I don't know the order of the venues we are going to play at and sort of the conditions. But if you go by the books, English conditions are definitely way more like pacer friendly. So and the fact that Jadeja is can bat as well. He balances the long tail out and I think he just provides he just has enough of experience and guile to sort of come in and then put that 10, 15 or even 20 overs if need be.
I mean, like what you're saying makes sense. I don't know how I'm gonna force fit Kuldeep. Like honestly, the only way I am force fitting or I am seeing Kuldeep come in is, again, this is a controversial call. Shardul plays instead of Jadeja, and then you remove either Prasid or Siraj. I think Prasid will sit out, and then you bring in a Kuldeep in. So you have one spinner in Kuldeep. You have Bumrah and Siraj as your frontline bowlers. You have a Nitish and Shardul as your other 2 fast bowlers. So you have 4 plus Kuldeep. Like that
Right.
will be the. I agree. Here, your fast bowling looks a little toothless because Nitish, we've not seen him bowl more than 4 or 5 overs.
Yeah, probably
We've
not rate Shardul as a
I
as a fast bowler
personally
either. Yep.
am not. Yeah, I don't rate him as that good a bowler. But frankly speaking, he has a golden arm. Like he might get hit, he might look very toothless, very non-menacing. Everybody is playing him easily, but he'll bowl one down the leg side. The batsman will nick it, go to the keeper. He'll bowl one outside off. They'll try to cut him. It will take the inside edge, go onto the stump.
So
He's
so
taken.
here is a more left field, more futuristic substitute for Shardul. I'd probably rope or try to get in. Wow, what's his name? The Anshul Kambojin. I know he's not in the 15 or 16 in terms of lineups squad. But yeah, as I said, from the left field, if you want to bring in someone who seems to be nippier with the ball and seems to have someone who would seem to have the discipline for Test cricket and can bat get you some 20 odd runs.
Like bringing on the topic of Anshul Kamboj, he did score a 50 odd in the second
practice match. That is also the yeah, exactly. That is also the reason why I feel comfortable. I mean, you never know who is ready yet because for a lot of these cricketers, this is the first sort of English.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you're really being futuristic and want to back someone and bring that bowling, quote unquote, bowling all rounder into the fold, yeah, he may be. I would probably pick him over Shardul.
Honestly speaking, the thing why even I rate Anshul Kamboj as a good test bowler because in the IPL as well, right? If you look at the wickets he's taken, it's not like he bowled a slower one, got a wicket. He bowled a Yorker, got a wicket. He always hits
back his line and then yep.
Yeah, even the one wicket hit the god of Yashasvi, he swung across the line, hit pitched on length, hit the top of off.
Agreed.
He got somebody else, I think, in against KKR, I think, like where they went for a hit, it pitched and hit the top of off. Like
Yep.
he bowls that consistent line and length no matter what, and obviously he has a very good Ranji bowling record. So, like honestly,
I think he's one of the only not only bowlers, one of the very few bowlers who've taken like 10 wickets in innings.
10
That
wickets
is,
in an inning. Right?
that is something.
So,
Yeah.
he is good, and even in the practice game when the other bowlers were actually getting hit, like they were like, at least I mean I didn't see the video.
I didn't see all of it either.
I just saw the scorecard, like
Yep.
the economy rate for the other
He
bowlers
seemed
was
to be
much
economical.
higher. Yeah, he is the one who was the most economical, and he seemed to have bowled longer.
Shows
lot of overs.
that they were thoughtful in playing him. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he has that ability. I'm not yet sold on his batting, so I'll kind of park that thought. But as a bowler, yes, like I am in line to bring him in. But like having said that, the thing about the previous Indian team versus the current Indian team is that out of 11, you will have 10 slots fixed. You will have one slot of that spinner where either a Jadeja plays or a Ashwin plays or maybe a Shardul. Like among these three, two people play. That's how we used to set the team.
Yep.
Now, if you go to legitimately think about it, I'll say KL is a set, Yashasvi is a set, Gill is a set, Pant is a set. You have Bumrah who's a set.
And I will probably put Jadeja in there as well.
So you would see, according to the team that I have picked, I didn't pick it. So honestly speaking, other than these five, like if we have to agree between the two of us, and like currently the way it is going, Karun is going to, like let's say Karun is going to be
a starter as well. Yeah.
But I won't say he's a starter because in the last couple of games he's played well. I don't say traditionally he's been a starter. Traditionally, if you think about it,
no, of course.
Even Gill is not a starter.
Yeah.
But like these six are like the shoo-ins to play the first test. There are 5 slots which are still up for grabs, like in our heads. Like, which is a big deal when you are talking about a test series for India going to England.
Good chance for, agree.
But it's going to be super interesting. I rate Arshdeep really highly as a bowler because I think as a bowler, he is probably the most complete. Let me complete it by saying, like, purely skill-based. Yeah, not talking about, I mean, I'm a left-arm bowler, so I kind of look at him and think,
soft corner. For
no, 100%. Like, I think from a skill set perspective, he can bowl over around. He can bowl in swing outswing. He bowls a Yorker. He bowls a slower one.
Agreed. He is. That is one of the reasons I had him as my fourth seam option. And he also needs someone. Sorry, just to add a bit. The thought that I had mentioned some time back was, how would you take load off of Bumrah? And I think, bringing Arshdeep in provides you that option where you don't need a Bumrah to be,
the wicket taker,
bowling as much.
Of the team.
Yeah, so Arshdeep is someone who can swing as well, so you can open with him and,
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen Arshdeep play in a test match, or I haven't followed his county.
Because I don't think he has debuted for us.
No. I mean, even in domestic circuits or in county, I haven't seen him play or I haven't followed. So I don't really know what level of consistency he can achieve in terms of his line and length. But purely from a skill perspective, I think he is right up there.
Agreed.
It will be. See, I think if you pick Arshdeep, he's going to be treated as your X factor with the varied skill sets he has. Yep. If you pick a Kuldeep, he's going to be treated as the X factor, having been that Chinaman angle with a few right-handers, and Harry Brook especially struggling against spinners.
Yep.
Like one of the biggest reasons why I want to pick Kuldeep is to nullify Harry Brook, because, and even Ben Stokes for that matter. Ben Stokes has also not fared that well against Kuldeep. So I feel both of, like, Kuldeep has an edge over two of their top batsmen. So that is one reason why I would want to pick him. But yeah, whoever they go in with is going to be super.
It's likely going to come down to horses for courses. So yeah, Kuldeep will play a game for sure.
I think he'll play more than one, but it depends on how India starts the first test.
I was about to say that a lot depends on how the first game goes. Yeah. And if you are wary about it, after BGT, even first game may not be an indicator of
how the series will go.
But yeah, it does help set the tone. Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, I am so excited for this series because, like, having a five-test match series in Australia and in England coming so close to each other, it's
Mhm.
like from a cricketing fan perspective, it's the best that you can hope. The
Oh,
only
for sure.
problem is going to be
Yeah.
the game starts at 2:30 in the night for me. That's gonna be like a tough watch. I'm gonna
No, for
have
sure.
to
Yeah.
get my things working, but
After IPL, we could have test as a white noise, while working. We could have it run in the background and be like, yeah,
oh man, IPL was a beast. I actually went through withdrawal after IPL, man, because I had a routine of getting up in the morning, checking the toss,
yeah,
putting my fantasy team, and watching the game.
no, for
After
sure.
the IPL was done, when I woke up in the morning, I'm like,
What do I do
what do
with
I
so
do
much
now?
time, or how do I fill the deafening silence?
That was crazy, dude. That was
Yeah.
crazy. But yeah, honestly. But just as a segue for
hmm Hey,
in
before we go
other
to
thing,
segue, do you wanna play prediction game and see, after our 11s, or what would be your bold predictions for the series?
see, as an India supporter, I want India to win. Like
Mm-hmm.
no doubts about it. I want India to do well, with the best, and all of that. The fact that Bumrah isn't playing five tests like is a cause of concern for me in the sense that whichever two tests he doesn't play,
Mm-hmm.
I know that in the five test series, I haven't seen the exact dates, but there are a few tests which have a very short
Spaced.
turnaround
Oh,
time in
yeah,
between,
okay.
while some have very long
Spaced
turnaround
about
times.
as well, yeah.
The ones which have short turnaround times, the second games, I feel Bumrah might not play,
Okay.
is my guess. So I don't know without him how this bowling lineup will look because it definitely looked pretty toothless in Australia, the one couple of innings that he didn't play. So that is one. Secondly, I feel Shubman, like Rishabh Pant's and Shubman Gill's form is like, see, frankly speaking, everybody's form
It's
is
going to
fantastic.
be the differentiator, no? Yeah.
The reason why I say Shubman Gill is he's the captain. Like, see, as a captain, you want
You
a good
need
series to
statement
you for
knocks
you to
from
be
the captain.
on
Yeah,
top of
lead from the
things.
front.
Yes, and he is supposed to be the one replacing Virat Kohli in the team, so you need
Yep.
somebody to kind of bring that consistency that he brought in.
Yeah.
And Rishabh Pant is Rishabh Pant, man. I mean, he has the ability to turn lost games into wins, and
Rishabh
he
Pant did end the IPL on a high note, so we'll hope that
yeah, that's
we'll
actually a
hope
bit
that
thing.
he is, he can carry that. But
Yeah,
Rishabh
hopefully,
Pant is that one batter whose form doesn't matter, right? Like
sure.
you don't need him to, like, he's that kind of a batter who will, go do his thing irrespective of, like, the conditions or the.
Did you mean to rhyme? Is a batter whose form doesn't matter.
I
Did
don't
you
know.
become
It
a
just came
poet?
out. Uh, yeah.
No,
So
but jokes aside, please finish your point. Yeah.
no, I was going to say. So yeah, I know we spoke about, hey, whose form is going to matter, and which players can, like, bring their IPL form over to Test cricket. Rishabh Pant is that one batter, one player whom, like, yeah, he can go on a string of low scores and then still come,
Strong up.
hit that 120 odd runs he hit in that last
That's what he did in the
second last
IPL, right? In the
IPL game.
last game, like
And
there was no
Steven said,
indicator
like,
for that.
bro, where were you? Like, you don't seem out of touch.
Out of
So yeah.
place. But I mean, see, bold predictions. I'm going for a. I don't think any game will end in a draw unless there is a rain.
Oh, is it okay?
So I don't think any game ends in a draw. So I'll probably go for either 3-2 or maybe I don't know to India. I'm always backing India.
Yeah.
I'll go
I know.
for
I
3
somehow
to India.
feel. Sorry, repeat that, please.
No, 3-2 India. So
3 to
that's
India. Okay.
what
I
about you?
think my predictions are going to be like 2-2. There might be one drawn
Draw
game here and
game.
there. Maybe it rains, it pours, it washes
Wow,
out.
man! But four result games in a 5 match
It
series
is
minimum
something. It
is
is
gonna
something.
be
I
an
know. I know.
amazing series.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, yeah.
yeah.
But in just as a side note, so that
Mhm.
people who are watching us know what we are about. In other news, words has been confirmed by a lot of uh, journalists to be joining
That's a
UAE.
good segue as well. Yeah.
Are you excited? Are you excited?
Oh, I don't know. I'm okay. So I'm so excited that I play FIFA 13. So FIFA 2023, and I've already moved over words and Frimpong from Leverkusen side to Liverpool, and I've moved Trent out to Real Madrid. So if that is a statement of excitement, then what not, right? That is
Oh
as
man,
excited I am. So
I was like, okay, the season is done, fair. We have some time for the next season. Now I know Words is coming. I am like,
yes,
man, bring the preseason on. I want to
yeah,
watch
yeah.
the team play. So the segue is that we are two friends who talk about cricket and football. So this episode was about cricket. We'll have episodes about football. You wanna contribute to that, Mr. Arvind?
Oh no, of course there is. I think there's no two doubts about it. I think this was great. I didn't really think we would end up speaking or talking, discussing so long. This is
Yeah.
usually what we do in our off hours. So I thought that this would be a nice idea. So yeah, we could we definitely try recording a video on Liverpool and football as well. So stay
In
tuned.
general, I mean, there are loads of things happening in football, man. The signings, the transfers, the Club World Cup, the
Yep, yep,
preseason
yep.
coming in. Like so many Premier League teams apparently going for a rebuild. It's gonna be super fun
It's going to be fun. Yes.
to see what happens this year. So you wanna end things on a good note, or how do you wanna?
Wow. No, I'm going to say, just to add on to what Srishal has already mentioned, we're two friends who would like to, banter about cricket, football, and most sports out there. But cricket is probably cricket and football are probably the two things
Close
that's
to us.
pretty close to our heart. We sort of grew from like boy to men. I don't know if I can say that. And our adolescent years has been seeing Indian cricket transform, seeing Liverpool transform to what they are today. So this is a small attempt, a try, a humble one to discuss football, discuss the game we love online.
Uh,
So if you like, please, what do they say? Please
like, share, and
share and
subscribe.
subscribe,
That's the
and
that's the
the bell notification would be somewhere out there. To do remember to hit the bell notification.
wow.
A
Never thought we'll do this.
no doubt with a silly thing. Bell somehow reminds me of Ian Bell, like the England batter, and how many times he has come to sort of torment us. So we will leave you
Every
guys,
team has that one player who somehow fails against most other
and
teams
then
scores against it.
strikes their form. So yeah, we'll leave you guys on the Ian Bell note.
Yes. Take care.
Bye, bye, peace.